Hey, what's up guys? This workbench that I'm leaning on right now is one that I designed and built myself about 1.5 years ago. It's worked out really well so far, except that it lacks a woodworker's bench vise on it. Until today, I have one by Wilton that I'm going to install on here and show you how it works. So let's get started. Here's the vise right here. It's very heavy. It's probably close to 40 pounds. Here's the box that it came in. I like this slogan right here. Wilton, holding strong since 1941. Very clever, guys. So this is a 4x10 woodworking rapid acting vise, model number 79A, stock number 63218, lifetime warranty. I like the fact that this has a lifetime warranty, and I think if you take care of it, it's going to last you a lifetime, and it's something that you're going to be able to hand down as well to your kids or grandkids. As a matter of fact, my grandpa had some vices that I ended up inheriting, and they're still working great today. So I think this is a great investment. So when you look at it, this thing is heavy. It is built like a heavy-duty truck. You know, it's just built to last. So, all right, we need to look at my bench down here where I'm going to install it. And I can't wait to get this thing going and start using it. Here's a look at my workbench. I've been giving it some thought where I want to locate this vise right here. So do I want to have it right here on the end, or do I want to have it more on the side, located on the corner? So I went to my Instagram stories, I pulled you guys and asked, and it was about 60-40. 60 said to put it on the side corner right there. So that's actually what I was planning on doing all along. And the one thing I think is important, let me show you a close-up look here. So in mounting your vise on the side, it's important, I think, to have it as close to the corner as possible. So let's say you have a board or something you're going to cut. See that white line right there? I want to clamp that in here and cut it. So if I have the vise over further, when you go to cut it, you're going to have some play in the wood. So it's good to clamp it as close as possible there. I don't have this mounted, so I can't really clamp it down. Then if you take a saw, it's nice to have that saw close to the vise as possible, so your material, if it has any flex to it, you're going to get a better cut if it's nice and close to the vise. So the vise is in further, you're not going to be able to cut all the way down, you know, like past it. So that's why I want it on the corner. So hopefully that makes sense. I'm sure that's probably just pretty obvious to everybody, but I felt like I had to say it. All right, let's look at the bench right here, and I'll show you some modifications I did to this so I can get ready to bolt this down. So the workbench right here, it has a 3/4 inch plywood. It's a birch, a finished birch that I bought. And underneath it, there wasn't really anything behind this 1x3 right here. So it's just, all it is around here is 3/4. So what I ended up doing is I took a 2x10, I cut it down and fit it in here and glued it. Then I have a 1-inch oak board that I had left over from a project, and I glued that. That's right where the plate, so here's the 4 screws. They're gonna go up through there and into that right there. So I actually filmed a little bit of a before and after, so I'm gonna show you about 30 seconds of a clip on how I did that exactly. Here's the board. Right now I have the spreader clamp right here. It's a DeWalt clamp, so it's turned in reverse. So it's actually pushing this right here up against the workbench. There's no screws or anything holding it in place. So underneath there I traced it, the plate, because what I need to do is actually I want to raise this side up a little bit. So I'm going to have to get my sander or something or chisel it out and bring this up about 1/4 inch or maybe just slightly more. Here's a look at the vise, and it's just personal preference. I just want to probably bring this in right here, maybe about 3/8 of an inch, and just have that recessed in just a little bit. Yep. Just need to raise this side up a little bit, that's all. All right, let me show you what I'm gonna do underneath here. I'm gonna grab a chisel. Right here I have my little video light. This is very handy. So this section right here, I'm going to chisel out, and that way the vise can go up somewhere about 1/4 inch or so. We'll start off with that and see how that works. I finished up what I need to do underneath here. I took a chisel and ended up using my belt sander just to get it exactly where I want. So now when I fit it, it's just underneath there. I'm happy with it. Now what I have to do is I want to cut just a little fraction off right there, like 1/4 inch, 3/8 of an inch maybe. Okay, so right there is where the edge is going to go, and then I'm going to run my saw right along here. Let's try dry fitting this again. All right, it's going to be in about 1/2 inch from the end. I think I can live with that. I've installed 3 out of 4 legs so far. This is the last one to go. I'm very excited. Okay. That looks pretty level. All right, not bad. All right, I'm very excited to get to this point. I just want to clean everything up. The one thing I'm a little bit concerned about, I'm not sure if I need to brace the leg, if I need to like screw that down somehow with like a piece of angle and Tapcons to the floor. I'm just wondering if I push down too hard on this, I was afraid that this could tip over. Maybe if I had this way out here as far as it goes, which is right there. I suppose if I push on this, yeah, that would tip. So I may consider doing something to mount the feet to the floor. All right, so as you can see, if I want to put a 2x4 in here, and here it is, the final result. I have the vise mounted on the workbench. I'm very happy with the way it worked out. So the final test, I'm gonna cut that straight line right there. Let's see how the vise holds up. I'm gonna cut from this side right here. Beautiful. So now that the workbench vise is installed, everything's working good. I'd like to quickly go over some of the specs, features, selling points of this, and then at the end I'm going to tell you a little improvement that I'd like to see Wilton make to this. The 2 jaw liners have a magnetic face. They're a maple finish. And this is a 4x10, and then this part right here that's pivoting, that pivots 12 degrees. So if you have some type of irregular size object, this will conform to that. You can take this out. You can actually raise it up as well too. So let me just show you how that works. So you raise it up, push on that, then you have a full bench dog. See how that will hit it right there? The maximum opening of this is 13 inches. So if you look at the vise underneath the workbench, it has this rapid acting nut on there, so it will actually disengage. So what you have to do you can easily go in and out with it like that, but to engage it as you push it in so it's tight against your material, and you start turning it a couple turns, and all of a sudden it just locks right on and tightens. And then in order to loosen it, you just give it like a full turn, and then you can pull that. So that rapid acting nut that disengages, you don't have to just keep spinning and spinning for, you know, like a minute to get it from here to here. It's rapid acting. So you're gonna save a lot of time going with this clamping material, things like that. This vise is intended for doing a lot of woodwork like gluing, sanding, drilling, holding boards for screwing it in. It's just essential for a woodworker. Just that extra, when you're working by yourself, it's that extra pair of hands that just quickly hold something in place. Very nice. The weight of this is 36 pounds. The best price I've seen on this right now is $243, and that includes free shipping on the website, the one website that I found. And if you look at the reviews of this, you're gonna see that it's somewhere between like 4.1 and 5 stars, depending on the website that you look at. One of the comments that I've seen, they said it's a little bit pricey, but it's definitely worth it. A lot of people just have commented saying it's just a great vise. That's all I can, that just summarizes this completely. So since this vise is a little more pricey, this is truly designed for the professional woodworker or professional craftsman. This is underneath my workbench looking straight up at it, so you can kind of see how this works. So let's just pull it out right there. You can just kind of see, pushing it in. So that rapid acting nut, I believe, is right in there. So here's the 4 bolts over there that I use with lag bolts to screw it on there. So I used a lot of construction adhesive and screws to beef up the underneath of my workbench. So I did see one person comment, they said they could actually, their workbench, they mounted that on with the 4 legs in like 8 minutes. That's all it took for their installation. For me, I had to do a little bit of work to mine, so it definitely took a lot longer, but it's pretty straightforward. It just required some cutting of some boards. You can kind of get an idea what that looks like as it's loosening and tightening. So now we've come to that one part of the video where we talk about that one improvement, that small improvement that I'd like to see Wilton make. So if you take a look at this woodworker's vise right here, you look at that nameplate on there, and then you look at this right here. This is their all-terrain vise right here. This is a nice stamped in, really stately looking, and this is kind of more like an afterthought, like a little piece of metal. I'd like to actually see something a little more robust with their name, I guess you could say, like that right there, more stately on this right here. It looks to me like this little metal plate is probably glued on, so there's a good chance this could get bumped and just, or the glue would dry and that could fall off. I'd like to see something that's more permanent built into this. So let me give you a close-up look of the all-terrain vise by Wilton, how they did that one. That's what I'd like to see, something more like this. And just to give you a close-up, here's that little metal plate. So that comment really has nothing to do with the way that this functions right here and works for you. It's going to work out just fine. It's just my first impression. I was kind of expecting to see on this vise something like that. So it's just a recommendation, and someone else had mentioned that too in the comments, so that's why I figured I would mention it here too. So my goal of this video is to show you how to mount a woodworker's vise to your workbench. And if you're considering the Wilton brand right here, I hope that this will help you with your decision to find out from watching me if this is a purchase that you're looking to make. For me, I'm very happy with it so far. If you found this video interesting, informative, please help support my channel by giving it a thumbs up. All right, friends, thanks for watching. See you next time.